In the early 1950s, America found itself gripped by fear. World War II had ended, but a new conflict loomed: the Cold War. Across the globe, communism was spreading, and at home, Americans were increasingly anxious about communist infiltration. In stepped Senator Joe McCarthy, a fiery Wisconsin politician who made it his mission to root out supposed communist sympathizers within the government, Hollywood, and everyday American life. With wild accusations and baseless claims, McCarthy capitalized on the country's fear, igniting a wave of paranoia that would come to be known as the Red Scare. McCarthy claimed to have a list of communists working within the State Department. He refused to produce the list. Does that sound familiar? Just like Barack Obama's birth certificate. But he continued to spread his accusations. Careers were ruined, lives destroyed, and fear of communism grew even stronger. The evidence was flimsy at best, non-existent at worst. But that hardly mattered. The senator understood that fear itself was enough to wield power. He created a climate in which suspicion was all that was needed to brand someone a traitor. Neighbor turned against neighbor. Loyalty was questioned, and fear of the other became the nation's dark obsession. McCarthy's strength came from his ability to manipulate a sense of us versus them. This is deja vu. He painted communists as dangerous outsiders, enemies within, note the term, who would destroy the American way of life. This division served McCarthy well, keeping him in the spotlight and granting him an immense power over a fearful nation. Nothing rules like fear. That's what Donald Trump is doing right now. Decades later, the echoes of McCarthy's rhetoric surfaced once more. As Donald Trump began his presidential campaign, he tapped into a similar fear of the other. But this time, the targets were Muslims, immigrants, and anyone who didn't fit a narrow-defined version of American. From describing Mexican immigrants as criminals to proposing a ban on Muslim immigrants, Trump revived an old tactic, painting these groups as a threat to the country's security and identity. Just as Joe McCarthy had used the threat of communism, Donald John Trump harnessed fears of economic displacement and national insecurity to rally supporters. He painted himself as a savior who would protect real Americans from the supposed dangers posed by immigrants and people of different ethnic backgrounds. Trump's rise showed that McCarthy's playbook of stoking fear and resentment was still effective. Trump understood that fear could galvanize a nation, distracting from deeper issues of inequality and economic uncertainty. Both men thrived on division, sowing mistrust and offering scapegoats for complex problems. Joe McCarthy's legacy left a scar in American society, and Trump's rhetoric left another, often pitting Americans against one another based on race, religion, or country of origin. The legacy of McCarthyism and Trump's rise share a common thread: fear of outsiders used as a tool to manipulate and divide in the 1950s. It was communists. In recent years, it has been immigrants and minorities. Today, the scars left by these tactics linger, and the lessons of McCarthy's reign of terror remain hauntingly relevant. Just as Americans had once seen themselves as divided by ideology, they now find themselves divided by race, class, and nationality. A reminder that fear, when wielded carelessly, can shape the course of history and deepen the divides within a nation. Donald Trump is employing the 2.0 version of Joe McCarthy. He's using the exact same strategy Joe McCarthy used, and is doing so with terrific success.